to see how this young lady has just taken the world by storm, and I can see how she's still going to do it for the next 20 to 30 years. So Lenine, without further ado, I'm going to hand over to you, and I'm going to continue watching.
Nice one. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Well done.
Thank you very much for that wonderful introduction, Colleen. I still need to get used to the title, Professor. So welcome everyone to this Tuesday PhD support group meeting. I am Professor Lenine Liebenberg, and thank you very much for joining today. And thank you so much for the very warm welcome. Today, we have the UKZN Student Support Services team with us after a short break. And we'll be focusing today on physical wellness. This will be the first of a two-part series that discusses the importance of physical wellness and the importance of this in our productivity. So today the team will focus on specifically nutrition, fitness, and sleep hygiene. Just as a reminder, this is a very informal session. So please feel free to put any comments in the chat, use your reaction icons. We love those. It's wonderful to know what you're feeling, when you're feeling it. And this is a constructive space. So we look forward to growing together over here in a supportive way. Right, with that, I look forward to handing over to the SSS team today. I see we have Sue and Christy and Wooly on hand. I'll stop sharing and you guys can take it away. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Lenine, and congratulations on this amazing achievement. I'm just going to get my screen ready for share. Okay, so let's see. Okay. Oops, sorry, I see that I was on mute and I was saying a lot of stuff. So thank you, Lenine, and congratulations. And I'm just checking if my screen is clear with to all of you.
Yes, it's sharing. Thanks, Wooly.
Lovely. Thank you so much. So really a warm good afternoon to all of our attendees today. And we have a wonderful session that was introduced to you just now on physical wellness, nutrition, fitness, and sleep. I'm Willie. I'm from Student Support Services, and together with me on this session is Suzanne and Christy. We are absolutely thrilled to also bring to you our guests, whom you're going to meet in a short while. And the session is going to be a really informal, like was just said by Lenine. We are hoping to have lots of interaction, and I think your interaction is what's going to actually drive the session forward. So on that note, I would like to start off with something really special to you.
My body is my home, and I will build it up, not tear it down. I will not listen to the voices in my head. I will not feel effortless about the things I do.
I hope you could hear that.
We can't hear it. I think you have to share sound as well as share screen.
Yeah, I thought so.
It was a little
My
soft,
body
but
is my
oh,
home,
there we go.
and I will build it up, not tear it down. I will not listen to the negative voices in my head. I am grateful for everything my body allows me to do. I am beautiful. I am enough.
And I hope you listened very carefully to that short clip, but it was very powerful words. And if I pose a question to you now, what do you expect from your body? You will all probably think around How can my mind and my brain and my body function well enough for me to get through this academic journey? In this journey as a postgraduate student, we so often hear, and we have actually concluded for ourselves, that in order to succeed, our focus on our academics has to be more intensive and more time consuming. Unlike your previous academic goals, you are now juggling both classes, research, full-time jobs, being a parent, a partner, and much, much more. So we know that your strong work ethics, your discipline, your focus, your efficiency, and your professionalism are all necessary for successful study and for your research. But having a life while studying is also important. We really do expect so much from our bodies. So in an article that was written by Michelle Terrell in March of 2022, which was on self-care for postgraduate students, she goes on to say that nothing can be said to be certain except stress and more stress. Amidst the limitless reading, writing, and numerous deadlines, it is easy to continuously operate on autopilot while ignoring the physical, emotional, and personal issues which can lead to your negative well-being. Our conversation today is about effective self-care in areas that we know, but we neglect. So referring to that TikTok clip, it is your body that will see you through this journey. So today we go back to the basics. Today we have conversations on not taking this engine of ours for granted, but to rather fuel it sufficiently so that it can see us through this journey of postgraduate studies. So today we bring to you a session of physical wellness, focusing on nutrition, on fitness, and on sleep. To start off our conversations, I introduce you to a remarkable lady, to Professor Suna. Prof. Suna is a registered dietitian. She is head of discipline, associate professor, and academic coordinator in dietetics and in human nutrition. Her research focus is public health with special interest in non-communicable diseases of lifestyle, obesity, infant and young child nutrition, as well as food security and sports nutrition. She has also investigated the body image of young adults and is involved in the development of infant figure rating scale used to determine maternal perceptions of infant body size using mixed research methods. So Prof. Suna has decided to focus her presentation on answering your questions on nutrition. So I am going to hand over to Prof. Suna and expect that you are going to take advantage of her expertise and her skills and just keep the questions rolling for her. I'm going to hand over to Prof. Suna. Welcome to the session, and we thank you at the outset for being with us. Whilst we just got a few areas that we would like you to probably focus on the slide in front of us, we will leave the session to you, and we leave it to our attendees to share with us what it is that they would like to hear more of. Thank you, Prof, and over to you.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everybody. It's lovely to be with you. And I first of all just want to say congratulations to the colleague that became a professor. It's definitely a tremendous milestone. And when I was watching the screensaver as such of this afternoon session and noted that it was a PhD support group, I thought, oh my goodness, I wish I was part of a support group when I did my PhD. Because I just recall my children constantly asking me, Mom, when are you finished with writing the book? They perceived a PhD as writing a book. So yes, as far as my cell phone tells me, it's 20 to 4. And I'll tell you why I referred to that time. Is that it's not drive time, as you might be traveling in your vehicle back home
or walking to wherever you need to be at the end of your day. But I was hoping that we could do something different this afternoon, in the sense that I will try my best to answer the questions you have. If you feel more comfortable not showing your face, that's absolutely in order. But I think it might be easier for Willie and Sue and Christine if you actually pose your question personally. I verbalize it as opposed to posting it in the chat. If we do not get too many questions from those of you that are present, I've also, as per what you see on the screen, I was given a couple of topics by Sue, and I've then just sort of thought I will speak off the cuff just to give you a few hopefully pearls of wisdom regarding these aspects. And I was also thinking about the fact that it's probably no truer word has ever been said, as an apple a day keeps the doctor away. So yes. So I don't know, colleagues, how would you like us to start? Are there any questions from those attending that I will opt to answer? If Sue and her colleagues can just help me to read the chat, that would be great.
I'm happy to ask a question related to nutrition, Suna.
Yes.
Could I go ahead?
Yes, of course.
When I get a little stressed out, I grab the closest sweet thing to eat, and that would be more than often a cake or chocolate or whatever confectionery is lying around. I've also developed a baking as a hobby, so I'm reinforcing this. I need sugar whenever I'm stressed. I'll drop what I'm doing, go to the kitchen and bake something. And I would like to know a little bit more about healthier ways to manage my stress then. If I am going for the sweet option, are there better alternatives for me to go to? Please don't say apple or banana.
No, I promise I won't. Yeah, so I don't want to carry coals to Newcastle, because you are all highly trained health professionals, but of course there's a biologic reason why we always or why we often opt for sweet things when we feel very stressed, because it's most likely to increase your serotonin levels, which is a way in which your body would actually improve your mood. So what I would suggest is that if you feel that you get these snack attacks when you are feeling very, very stressed, I think it's important that you maybe, first of all, I'm not going to tell you to eat lettuce leaves and carrot sticks, because that's not on. But I would say opt for something that is filling and both enjoyable. So an example, for instance, would be peanuts and raisins, let's say. Or if you bake something that is high in fiber, for instance, like crunchies, oatmeal crunchies, because in that way, you would be less likely to overindulge, because it's quite filling and satisfying. So I think also very important is that you obviously need to consider what your personal preferences are, and maybe you can make a list for yourself of things that you really enjoy eating, when you are happy or when you're not so happy, and maybe see how you can modify them in order to choose maybe more filling options. So does that answer your question? And I'm not trying to be like a DJ here, on a drive home show on the radio, but does that help? And
Those were very, very helpful. Thank you so much. I've never actually really considered making a list of things that I eat when I'm happy and things that I eat when I'm sad, just to be more conscious about what I'm eating. Might be the way for me to go, instead of just grabbing whatever's close. Thank you.
And the thing, you're welcome. And the thing is also, if you, let's say for argument's sake, you opt for, let's say, peanuts and raisins. I'm just giving a random example. It's something that requires a bit of chewing. It's not as if you can gulp it down quickly. And as a result, that might also satisfy you to actually overcome that instantaneous craving that you have. The other thing, of course, is people often crave things not only just related to stress, but because you are maybe very hungry. And what you could also maybe ensure is that to make sure that you don't overdo things. You can make a concerted effort to eat small regular meals, so that when you do feel stressed, that you are not on top of feeling stressed, that you're ravenous, because that's also when one would tend to maybe just overdo things a bit. All right.
Thank you, Prof. I'm not sure with any other questions from our participants. Here's your opportunity to ask Prof anything that you've been worrying about in terms of your nutrition. So Lenine has a hand up again, Prof. Go ahead, Lenine.
How important is calorie counting to your daily diet?
Calorie content. Sorry, is that what you said?
Calorie counting, or being mindful of the
calorie counting, sorry. Yes, you know what? Obviously, or first of all, let's just put it in basic terms. But again, I don't want to bore everybody to tears, because you are all experts. But your calories or calorie counting is a way of pacing your energy intake, and we tend to gain weight if we actually exceed what our body uses on a particular day in terms of our calorie content or our energy consumption. And sometimes what people don't realize is that, especially during periods of stress or change in lifestyle, I don't know how many of you ended up working extensively from home during lockdown and are still using that opportunity. But it's a matter of, sometimes one might not consciously think about it, but eat something just because it's available. And in the process, your energy, or otherwise known then as your calorie or kilojoule consumption, would exceed that which your body uses. So calorie counting is something that you would probably be able to do if you make a concerted effort of reading food labels to give you an idea. But it can also breed obsession. And as a result, I think, first of all, one should, if you say calorie counting, you are most likely to find the calorie content of prepackaged foods, whereas with other food types, you might actually have to look it up. But having said that, it is a good idea that if you feel that you have a tendency to maybe overdo things, to keep a food diary. And what that basically means is, instead of writing down your most deepest, darkest, or happiest moments for the day, you actually write down what you would eat on a particular day. because very often people might say to me, for instance, I can't understand why I'm battling to lose weight, or why I am unable to reach a certain goal that I have, because I really don't eat that much. But it's only once you actually jot down what you consume that you can reflect on it and actually see where your faults lie in terms of eating per se. And it again boils down to eating regularly. And if you look at food labels, just remember that you need to actually look at the energy or kilojoule content per serving, and not as per what is indicated for the product as such. I'm just going to give you a random example. My husband loves peanut butter, and he also loves Nutella. So very seldomly, because as it goes with a lot of husbands, they end up being experts in everything that women might, and I'm not trying to be sexist or feminist, but my husband most certainly thinks that he's Mr. Google. And so we actually, for instance, looked at a bottle of Nutella. So if you look at the calorie content of Nutella, it is actually the equivalent of the energy or calorie content that an endurance athlete would actually consume on a daily basis when training very hard. However, if you look at the calorie content per serving, and they normally give you an idea of what exactly a serving size is, then that could also help you to get a better idea of how much energy you are consuming. So just again, to get back to the question, does that help?
Yes, it does. Thank you very much, Prof.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. We've had two hands up, Prof. We'll let Cosnet Lerato go, and the second hand's down. I don't see it, but we've had two hands. So we'll start with Lerato.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks, Prof, for attending to our session today. My question is, which one do you think is more beneficial between maintaining consistent meals throughout the day, so making sure that you don't skip your meals, versus intermittent fasting?
Yes, that's quite, I nearly want to say, a controversial topic, and it has been something that has been receiving quite a bit of attention. But the point is, first of all, whatever you do in an attempt to live a healthier lifestyle, whether you're trying to be more active, whether you're taking care of your mental health, or whether you are trying to maybe eat a bit more healthily, it's extremely important to consider the fact that what is achievable and what is sustainable. So the studies that have been done on intermittent fasting and the effect that it has on, for instance, maintenance of body weight, they are not long-term studies. And hence, the jury is still out there to actually indicate whether it is a good way of watching your weight. The problem then, as I mentioned, or as we alluded to in the questions that I've already answered, is that what could happen is that if you, for instance, stagger your food intake to a certain time of the day, chances are that you could be ravenously hungry by the time you get there. And then in doing so, you would actually consume more calories or energy than what you would have had you actually eaten more frequent meals. So based on my experience and what scientific research says, I think it's very, very important then to go for regular meals. The meal that is most often skipped in the course of the day is obviously breakfast, for numerous reasons. And if you happen to be one of those people, and I'm not talking, I'm talking to the audience per se, if you are a person that doesn't have the necessary time, or your appetite isn't stimulated when you get up in the morning and you're not in the habit of eating breakfast, you can always keep breakfast in your office. For instance, something like, let's say, a cereal that you enjoy. And then you can actually you don't have to have your breakfast before you leave to go to work. You can actually have it at the office, because that's one way of making sure that you actually start your day off by having something, so that your hunger cues do not build up in the course of the day.
So, Prof, I actually think you answered a question that was on the chat space regarding breakfast. Jeremiah, who had his hand up, spoke about the breakfast issue. And I think you've answered that, about how important it is, and is there a time frame for it? Because some of us struggle with having a breakfast. There are no further hands up, Prof, and I'm aware of our time frame as well. So I was wondering whether you would like to just look at the questions that we have there, but maybe in a summary sort of format, if you would like to just share any words of wisdom for us or with us.
Sure. Perfect. All right. So when it comes to what is good nutrition, in a nutshell, it's good nutrition could be viewed, or is viewed, as having as wide a variety of foods as possible. In other words, variety is the spice of life, but also when it comes to good nutrition, it's important to have a variety of foods, because there are no magic bullets out there. People ask me questions like, for instance, are avocado pears good for you? And the answer would be yes, but then there are numerous other foods that also have very specific health benefits. And by building on a diet made up of variety, you can actually ensure that you attain health from a nutrition perspective. Then exploring your own nutritional needs and shopping for it. I think here one needs to also then look at, for instance, first of all, preference, because the reason why a lot of people are not able to, for instance, stick to a weight-reducing diet, as an example, or even if they are diabetic and they're given guidelines, is that the foods that are recommended doesn't take into consideration their personal preferences. So it's a matter of exploring what your personal preferences are, and then shopping accordingly. Again, taking into consideration that you should try to shop for as wide a variety of foods as possible, which means starchy foods, fruit and vegetables. You are actually meant to consume 3 to 5 servings of fruit and vegetables on a daily basis, and that's something that a lot of people aren't able to do. And then if you are not vegetarian, you could then, the next group would be things like meat, fish, chicken. And for those that are vegetarian, legumes, in other words, beans, peas, lentils, nuts would be your protein source. And although milk is viewed as a separate food group, it is obviously a source of protein as well. So, and then last but not least, fats and sugars. And the key there is moderation. People would, for instance, think that, yes, olive oil is good for me, so let me make a salad dressing that consists of olive oil, or if I'm doing a stir fry, I'm going to use olive oil. But the point then is moderation is key, because if your stir fry is doing the breaststroke or the backstroke in the olive oil, then you are actually consuming a lot of additional energy. So just because something is healthy or good for you does not mean that more would be better, especially when it comes to fats and oils per se. And then just, I always say to people, if you can see your teeth marks in the margarine when buttering your bread, then that is an indicator that you are actually overdoing it. So we don't want to leave any forensic evidence that we were actually busy eating something. Then lunch, packing a lunch bag. This could be related to, again, your circumstances. You can keep something at work that you could snack on. last night's leftovers is also something that you could take. If you have leftovers from last night's supper you cooked, that could be something that you could go for. A sandwich would be a good idea, obviously, and also, for instance, something like yogurt, fruit, etc. And I just want to check here because I just made 1 or 2 notes that I just wanted to check that I covered. So, and if you, for instance, do opt to go to a food store that sells readily available foods for lunch, also what I wanted to add there is just because something or the word salad features on the packaging doesn't mean that it's necessarily a good option. For instance, if something, a salad is a pasta salad, but it's actually covered in mayonnaise, it's a high fat meal or a lunch, and it definitely, I don't think it would actually be statistically significantly considered to be a salad as such. So yes, do what works for you, and yeah, again, building in variety, brain food with good energy that lasts throughout the day. Protein is, funnily enough, the food that has the highest satiety factor. As a result, if you include a protein in your breakfast, for instance, having milk with your cereal, that would sustain your appetite. Brain food, I think it's a matter of just making sure that you eat regularly so that your blood glucose levels are maintained and that they don't fluctuate, irrespective of whether you're diabetic or not. And I know I'm running out of time, so I don't want you to overdo it. And then lastly, with quick nutritious meals, 1-pot meals are a very good way to ensure that you are including everything you need. So you can have vegetables, starches, and a source of protein, whether it's legumes or fish, chicken, meat, whatever your preference is. And I think that is possibly, in terms of quick nutritious meals, I would definitely recommend that. And also, for instance, dishes like stir fries, because you can add a lot of good things there. It's quick to make. You can use frozen vegetables, which are easily available, and you don't have to worry if you don't have fresh ones in the home. And I think that is about it from my side. Because I don't want to overstretch my time too much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prof. That I know this is a conversation that we could have for a whole hour, if not more. And time is the issue. There, Suzanne's put a comment on the chat. I have been told recently the key to staying healthy is chew your food. I like Prof. Suna's advice. Chewing does curb the urgent need to snack or curb hunger, but it also, in reflection, encourages mindful eating. Thanks, Suzanne.
Thanks for that. That's definitely food for thought. Well done.
So, Prof, we know that you have a very, very hectic schedule, and we are just absolutely thrilled that you could be with us. We have been trying to get you with us for a while, and it's been difficult. So I'm so grateful, and on behalf of the team, we're just grateful that you were able to share this platform with us. Please stay with us. If you, sure. It would be wonderful. I'm going to move on to our next speaker, and perhaps at the end of it all, if there's further questions, our participants can just place it on the chat space, and we will try our best to respond to these questions. Thank you so much, Prof. So I now move on to our next part of the session. I have the pleasure of moving from fueling our bodies to fitness. And I bring to you a young lady, Valentine Mthembu, who is a sports science honors graduate currently pursuing her master's degree. She also works at UKZN, the sports department based at the Harvard College and Medical School. Her role entails assisting the department with high performance sport and mass participation of sports to help improve the health of students. Over to Valentine. Welcome, Valentine, and over to you.
Good day, everyone. Thank you for the session. I'm so excited to join and actually share more about fitness, which is what I'll be focusing on today. Just before, okay, can I take questions afterwards? Because I was planning to just share with you first, so we can all have a better understanding of what is fitness, because most people will think fitness is having muscles, big muscles, but it's not really that. You can achieve physical health or fitness, which I may call it, in little ways, including it in your day-to-day functions or your day-to-day routine. So basically, I would like to start by sharing what is wellness. Basically, it's to include the healthy habits of participating in physical routines and mental routines to achieve this wellness. So basically, it focuses on physical health and mental health. So if you if you need to if you want to live a healthy lifestyle, so you need to understand how does the health and wellness contributes to your healthy lifestyle. So basically, instead of just living your life, you need to adopt the healthy habits of including exercise in your everyday life. And it's important to understand what is this physical health we're talking about. So basically, physical health is a condition of being physically fit, the absence of non-communicable diseases such as stroke, BP, and also cardiovascular diseases. So it is important for you to engage in physical activities in your daily activities, and also just being involved in sports if you like sports. And also I just like what Prof. Suna explained earlier on about proper nutrition, because proper nutrition and exercise can contribute to your physical health. So it is important to actually be aware of all of these things that contribute to your overall physical health. Because wellness is living a healthy lifestyle. Basically, you're enhancing your physical and you're enhancing your mental and social well-being. So it is important to understand all of these things. And I want to focus on leisure and exercise, because that's where you get to understand how you can actually incorporate exercise in your day-to-day functions. So basically, leisure, it's time away, spent away from your work, from your education, which is your research, your studies, and your domestic chores such as cooking, cleaning, and all the necessary activities such as eating and sleeping. So it is time away from all of those things you normally do on a day. So I would call it your me time, basically. That's your time where you can do whatever you want, something that's fulfilling to you and something that you really enjoy. So you can actually include exercise in this me time, and you can make it fun. You can even involve your friends, you can involve your families, and you can even involve your colleagues at work. So basically, exercise is any form of movement that your muscles make. Basically, this jogging, walking, hiking, or just going to the gym to burn these calories that you've been eating. Probably you had like a snack in the morning, or probably for lunch you decided to have chips, fried chips. So doing any form of movement, you can actually burn some of these calories. For example, let's say you're at work, you probably take the stairs, and you can actually burn some of these calories while including physical activity in your day-to-day functions. So the importance of establishing a healthy leisure routine or exercise routine is to be active at all times. It is important to actually live a healthy lifestyle because you maintain a healthy weight, which is your BMI, which is your body mass index. Everyone knows this, and so maintaining a healthy weight, you decrease your chance, or you reduce your chance of having diseases such as stroke or high blood pressure, or so many diseases which we all know that affects us as young people, and if you don't actually engage in physical activity. Physical activity also contributes a lot to improving your mental health. So it's important to actually engage in physical activity because you're able to deal with stress. Let's say you need to submit your research and you have a deadline. So you can actually manage all of this stress and you're able to be productive and actually produce work you need to produce at that time. So it's important to maintain a good mental health. So engaging in exercises also improve your mental health. And also not just maintaining a good body weight or mental health, but actually exercising can increase your chances of living longer. So you live your life to the fullest, so you live a longer life. And it also helps you strengthen your muscles and your bones. So basically, when you strengthen your muscle and you strengthen your bones, you're more flexible. You don't really get like back pain when you've been sitting down a lot. So doing some sort of movements or any type of movements that we consider as exercise and you burn calories, you can actually strengthen your body muscles and your bones. And so many studies have shown that being active actually contributes both to your physical and mental health. So I've been mentioning how to fit exercise during your day-to-day functions. So basically what can you do is you take stairs instead of an elevator. I know we always probably late and you're rushing late to the office, but you can spare 5 minutes and just take stairs instead of taking an elevator. Then you've included some sort of exercise in your day. And also probably you can just walk to your co-worker office instead of sending an email. I know everything needs to be on emails, but also just taking a walk can actually include exercise in your day-to-day routine. And also probably what you can do is just park like 5 or 10 minutes away from your office or your destination and just take a walk and just think, and it can just help you have more of a productive day. And you get to the office, you're feeling fresh and you can be productive because you've just taken a walk and you've just included exercise in your day. It's not something that you're gonna sweat, it's just walking a bit and you've actually included exercise in a small space of time without even noticing, or being lifting, probably like lifting weights where some of the people don't like really going to the gym. So taking a walk can be something that you can incorporate in your day-to-day routine. And also just being active with friends or family, having a person to actually work out with or being active with, it helps motivate you because you can socialize and it's fun. It's not something that's stressing you out. Probably I can't go to the gym because I don't know how to lift weights. So being active with someone, with your partner, with your sister or your mother, anyone that can join you and can be your workout partner. Probably you guys can join like an exercise class, a dance class, or hiking class. You can even join a sport team or individual team such as squash. You can join volleyball. Do something active with a friend and just make it fun so you don't feel like you actually straining your body. And also right now we have technology, and we can actually keep progress of all your activities. We have phones, you have smartphones now where you can track all your day-to-day activities, your physical activities. You have watches where you can track how many steps you've been taking throughout the day, and that can actually encourage you and motivate you to take more steps in a day rather than just sitting down in the office and not moving around. And also what I like to do with my sisters, we like to just put on music on YouTube, and we probably have some chores. So you clean the house, you have music, and you're dancing. You're doing some sort of movements without even noticing, but you're having fun with your family. So it's really important to include like a friend or family, because we don't have time. So now spending time with your family while being active can also be something that you can do together. And also how to make time for your physical health and wellness. We all have a busy schedule. Probably you finish late at work, you have an early morning, so you don't really know when to make time for physical activity. You don't have time to go to the gym. Probably it's always packed. So having a routine, waking up early to take that 5-minute walk to your office, that can help you because you have a routine, and you start your day early. I just saw some questions on the chat box before I just continue.
So Valentine, yes, sorry. So there's a question here, and I'm mindful of the time. So the question is, how much active time should we aim for on a daily basis? Just walking at a good pace. How much of time should we aim for?
So in engaging in physical activity, it should be moderate to vigorous activity. So I'd say 30 minutes to an hour. You can break them throughout the day. Take a walk in the morning, take a walk during your lunchtime, and take a walk in the afternoon. You can actually cover an hour or 30 minutes without even noticing. So you don't really need 2 hours or 5 hours of being active. It's just being mindful of those times where you can just take a walk, take the stairs without even noticing that you're being active, you know.
And that's amazing. And I think that's what I actually wanted to say, that in the session, obviously we cannot cover every aspect that there is on exercise and fitness, but creating that awareness and just helping us to jog our minds into the realization that this is something that we need to do that we're not doing. Because if I look at the comments here by Lufanda, who says that please bring a bulldozer to drag me to exercise. Just impossible for me. And the ideas that I shared here are genius. And Suzanne, there was a comment. I won't declare how many steps I have counted today, but I have an app that reminds me to stand up often, so to do something kind and nice for myself.
Yes,
and
definitely.
And Lenine talks about, I love these points. Putting exercise into my working day helps me work off those stress. Eating sweet things and helps me with the guilt. Take a walk for 5 to 10 minutes during the day, even squeeze into lunch. Have walking meetings. Take the stairs, park far away, like on the top of the roof, parking a lot. Take a regular break to move. These are wonderful apps out there to help with just 5 minutes of workout, 10 minutes, etc. So Fit On is great for me. Thanks for those lovely tips, Lenine. So Valentine, I'm not sure if there's anything else that you would like to add to what's been shared today.
There are a few points where I was talking about involving your family in terms of physical wellness, because sometimes you work from home and you have a baby around, you have your partner around, so you want to include these physical activities or these exercises throughout your day, but without doing it alone, you're actually involving your family and you're actually spending time with your loved ones. So it's just a few points, as in like you plan like active family gatherings, like the toys you buy for the kids. You can actually buy toys that encourage physical activity, like balls, like bicycles, and you can do that as a family because you're spending time with your family while being physically active. Like as I mentioned before, like singing and dancing while you clean, it is a form of movement and people don't really notice it, and people are not really aware of such things. And also what I liked about the previous presentation from Prof. Suna about healthy food choices. If we have dinner as a family, we need to incorporate like salads or have like fruits together. If you do something as a family, you don't really notice that I don't like eating oranges, I don't like eating veggies. But if you do it as a family, sometimes it's nice because you have people who encourage you to do things rather than just doing it alone, and you feel like I don't like eating alone, and I don't want to eat a salad, or I don't want to eat veggies. They're not nice. But if you're doing it as a family, you would not even notice that you're making healthy choices.
Valentine,
And yeah,
sorry, you can go on. Just
problem. No, it was just a last point of which I wanted to share with everyone, that it's important to start living a healthy lifestyle and start making better choices so you can live your life to the fullest, because the choices you make, the mindful choices you make in terms of your nutrition, your physical activity, and your sleep, it all contributes to your physical health and overall your wellness. So it's important to make those better choices in your life.
absolutely. So Valentine, there's an interesting question on the chat. Physical activity is not always beneficial. I learned I have been in contact with someone who's a healthy individual who worries about the negativities of physical activities. Do you have any words for such a person?
I'll talk about research. Studies have been done. So many studies have been done, and for you, I can't really say it's not really beneficial. You need some sort of physical exercise in your life because it all contributes to your physical health. As I've mentioned, it's diet, proper nutrition, physical exercise, sufficient rest, and proper recovery. That's all contributes to your physical health. And that's how you maintain this healthy body weight. And that's how you burn all of these calories. So I wouldn't really agree with the points of saying physical activity is not really beneficial. It is beneficial because if, let's take someone who is in a coma for, let's say, a month, that person needs rehab to start walking again because they haven't been doing any physical work. So in terms of their flexibility and their balance, they wouldn't be good at that. They would need some sort of rehabilitation, start walking again, because they haven't been active, their muscles haven't been working. So you need to train your muscles, not really go to the gym, but walking and jogging and just taking that walk, it helps train your muscles and move your blood, get your blood pumping, your heart, all of these things. So I wouldn't agree with the points because so much research, and it's something that we live every day. You see every day that if you take a walk, you even feel good. You can even be productive. It clears your mind. It contributes to your mental health. So being physically active contributes to so many things that we are not aware of. We just need to be educated and be aware of the benefits that physical activity has on our lives every day.
Valentine, thank you so much for being with us, for answering our questions, and for sharing with us your expertise in this area of fitness. Just to say that as students of the university, the sports center is there, and our students can actually access professional advice, assessments, and exercise programs that could benefit them. So please take advantage over this. Thank you so much, Valentine. And if there's questions, students can post it onto the chat space, and we will try to get Valentine to answer that onto the chat space. I'm going to move on to the next segment of this session, where I actually will hand over to Suzanne. And I'm not sure how much of this we can cover now, but it's actually a little bit on the magic of sleep. Suzanne.
So may you end your screen share so I may start mine. Oh, there we go. Just double checking which screen you're seeing. Screen 2. There we go. All right, so just to let you know that this is 8 minutes, so we are going to be going over time just by 4 minutes. But just to do a quick introduction, this is a presentation done by Prof. Severa Ramdal, who is the head of who's the clinical head of specialized psychiatry at King Dinizulu Hospital Complex in Durban. She's a graduate of the University of Natal, and she's completed her PhD at UKZN. She's also a lecturer in the Department of Psychiatry and has been an academic leader of the Registrar Training Program. She serves on the KwaZulu-Natal Provincial Technical Advisory Committee for Mental Health, is the current president of the College of Psychiatrists, and a Senate member on the Education Committee of the Colleges of Medicine of South Africa. She co-manages the KZN branch of SADAG and is an advocate for mental well-being. I'm going to be sharing a small snippet of her presentation on the magic of sleep.
Elixir for health, wealth, success, and beauty. Now imagine if I could market something, a little bottle of pills or a potion that we could use that could guarantee us health, wealth, success, and beauty. Now quickly raise your hands. How many of you would buy this? Because then I'm planning to go into business and I want to know if it's going to be viable. Anybody would buy this elixir, which will give us health, wealth, success, and beauty? All right, so I think one of the important principles of mental well-being is the fact that there are very simple strategies that are available and accessible to us at no cost, all right, that we don't tap into because it seems so simple. It's kind of obvious. And because of that, we think, oh, no, it's not good. But we'd rather get sick and then get prescribed expensive tablets and expensive treatments and admissions in hospitals, etc., just to restore our well-being. So what is this elixir I am talking about? So let's hear Walter Reed Army Institute of Research said, deprivation reduces our emotional intelligence, self-regard, assertiveness, sense of independence, empathy, quality of interpersonal relationships, positive thinking, impulse control. The only thing that gets better is magical thinking and reliance on superstition. Now, that's a lot of benefits that this something is offering us and which would be deprived of if we neglected it. Looking at what would happen if we were to go without this important elixir, all right? Is what we need. So you would have gathered by now that this elixir that I'm talking about is actually sleep. Sleep, it's a basic activity that we all engage in that costs us no money. And yeah, you know, whoever controls the universe, they with regularity, just like ESCOM. We know it's load shedding on the dot, 4 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 6 o'clock, the lights get switched off. And here, wherever Mother Nature, whoever you want to call her, with regularity, puts on the lights in the morning at sunrise and in the evening, puts it off for our benefit, And it's a permission to say, it's time for you to enjoy sleep, because these are some of the health implications if you don't sleep. So if you scan the slide, you can see that it covers a wide spectrum of health-related issues. And this is not a comprehensive slide. I just pulled out something from Google just to give you a snapshot of how far-reaching the implications of sleep deprivation and poor sleep and insomnia. All right. Relationship between sleep and mental illness, all right, interrelated, all right. If you don't sleep, you are increasing your risk for mental illness. And when you develop mental illness, one of the common symptoms across all mental illnesses is a disturbance in sleep. Either you may sleep too much or you may not be able to sleep. All right, so it's a vicious cycle once again here. All right, as I said, if you don't sleep, you're more vulnerable. Remember, you don't sleep, your immune system is affected, your memory is affected, you're ratty, you're irritable, you're really not a happy person, and it affects your physical health. So once again, you see this vicious cycle here. So if you want mental health, you have to prioritize sleep. And if you're mentally ill, if you have a mental illness, you must also make sure that you prioritize sleep, because sleep is therapeutic. All right, even if you're taking your medication, you're taking an antidepressant, etc., doesn't mean to say that, oh, I'm on an antidepressant that will sort out my depression. If you are not sleeping, whatever medication you're taking is not going to be adequate to bring your illness under control. All right, sleep in itself is medication. It's natural medication, absolutely necessary medication. Nature works as a regular. We have a clock, and the sun rises and sets with regularity. There are seasonal changes, but there is. Can you imagine if the sun decided, oh, I'm feeling lazy today, I'll get up at 12 o'clock. Oh, I don't feel like getting up today at all, I'll just stay in bed. That will not be compatible with life on this planet for any natural being, plants, all life, all right? Because we all are tuned, our bodies are also tuned to the circadian rhythm, nature's clock, all right? And we have these mini clocks all over in our cells, all right? So you have to have regularity, all right? And then develop a ritual of going to sleep in terms of whether you take a shower, you brush your teeth, etc., because it also helps to prime you. Rituals are important, all right, in terms of creating that harmony, that rhythm. It also shows respect for your body's needs. You have to have silence when you're sleeping, and we don't live in an ideal world, so we may live where there's noisy neighbors or noisy dogs or street lights that are shining in, or family members that are out, or a young baby that may be sleeping. So be creative, get an eye patch, get earplugs, and try and create silence and darkness, all right? Because you remember, light will prevent the release of melatonin, which will impact on your quality of sleep. Have a light meal before you sleep, all right? Your energy must be directed to your brain to do all the work I've spoken about, not to your stomach trying to digest a huge meal. Smoking and alcohol, especially in the late parts of the evening, impair your sleep, all right? So if you're having sleep difficulties, I would suggest you avoid those. They should be avoided at all costs, but if you have to, then avoid it after. Taking a walk after you have your meal in fresh air, if it's possible, if it's safe, please do that. It facilitates your digestion, but that little bit of exercise also is found to help you to get better quality sleep. If you have difficulties falling off to sleep, you should omit all caffeine after 1 o'clock, all right? Practical things, sleep in comfortable clothes, sleep on a comfortable bed, all right? You shouldn't be too warm, all right? Your body temperature drops at night. And if you are very hot and you find that interferes with your sleep. So figure out what's optimum for you, and then get to bed and wake up at the same. And then try and keep electronic devices away from you, all right, at night. It's also a temptation, because if you can't sleep, then you look at your phone and the blue light comes on, but it's also distraction, because then your mind starts working again, all right? So preferably keep all devices out of your room. Do not watch television from bed, all right, or play computer game. There's only two purposes for your bed, all right, is to sleep and to have sex, all right? Anything else shouldn't be done in the bed, all right? And then if you can't sleep, don't sit there worrying about it. Get up, get out of bed, go and do something, preferably reading, all right? Preferably not on a tablet as well because of the light. Read or do something mundane, like delete messages on your phone, because that's going to get you on your phone again, but just try something. Like, it's a good time to tidy up your drawers or whatever the case may be. And then when you've tired again, go back to sleep. So not an exhaustive list, but just something I'd like you to discuss. and then try and keep.
Someone had a good giggle. So I just want to share that was just a snippet from the presentation by Prof. Vera, and we will be sharing on email the full link of that presentation from the Mental Health Reset program that we hosted last year. So over to you, Holly.
So I'm aware that we have gone over your time, and I think that these topics have actually been so valuable that each one on its own is over an hour each. So I think bringing this to this platform was an opportunity to create awareness for you on the critical need for, alongside you focusing on your academic program, to please invest some time in yourself, in your nutrition, in your health and your wellness, in your exercise and leisure, and certainly in sleep, something that I think we really compromise on, so that we could push our body to the limit to deliver academically. However, remember that little snippet that your body needs to be nurtured and fueled and refueled in order to give you the ultimate results that you are aiming for. So from our side, I thank you so much for staying with us. We will share as much as we can with you on email. The links will be shared, and there's a Prof. Suna's little booklet, which is a gem for us. Suzanne shared it with you on the chat space. You're welcome to download that. On behalf of Student Support Services, I want to say a special thank you to Prof. Suna and to Valentine for their time and their time and sharing their skills and knowledge with us. And certainly to Prof. Vera, who's always willing to support our students. Thank you so much. Over to you, Lenine.
Thank you so much, Julie. Oh my goodness, it's been such a wonderful panel today. And I am so very excited for our next week's session with you, all about physical wellness. So everybody, please join us next week for the SSS team taking over again. And thank you so much for today's content. It was amazing. I have so many notes now that will be ingrained for. Thank you so much. And we'll see you next week. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for your participation. Goodbye.
Bye.